Hi, I'm Krizia. Welcome to my channel. So I'm going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag, but I'm going to be a rebel and do the questions a little bit out of order. Because honestly, I feel like question 10 should be at the very beginning, because if you don't have similar reading taste to me, then you probably don't want to be on my channel. So I'm just going to let you know what my favorite books are. I read contemporary fiction, literary fiction, horror, thriller, memoirs, poetry collections, short story collections, graphic novels, and the occasional hard-hitting YA contemporary, occasional YA fantasy, occasional middle grade. But contemporary fiction, literary fiction, and horror and thriller are my top genres. The only high fantasy I've ever read is Children of Blood and Bone, and I really enjoyed it, but it's just the only other fantasy I've read besides She Who Must Not Be Named's works. So I'm not opposed to fantasy, but I find it very difficult to get into. I feel kind of like thrown into the world, and the adjustment period to learn the things is so daunting that I don't find it very easy to keep up with, but I'm open-minded. I think question 11 should be combined with question 10. And what does your book collection look like? Pretty much looking at it, I don't have too many books. This is my library cart. Like, it's literally, like, it's actually an encyclopedia cart I found. And I check out a bunch of books from the library just on constant rotation. So I have books, but these like dozen are constantly changing. And there's a couple of my favorites here. Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, and I don't own my very favorite book of all time by Nina LaCour, We Are Okay, because I'm wanting to order it from her hometown bookstore, and she signs it if you put in an order, and I've just been procrastinating doing that, but that'll be my prized possession once I do that. And also, a few of my favorites are missing off of the shelf. Off the top of my head, like, let's see, the Junji Ito collection, and The Need by Helen Phillips, The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker, to name a few. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I have a few answers for this. I'm autistic, so my channel is always going to be a safe space for any neurodiverse people. Neurodiversity includes autism, ADHD, anxiety, depression, Tourette's. So I'll be able to give my own opinion about whether autism rep in books, whether they be not own voices or own voices, are, in my opinion, good representation and a good story. And I personally, my DMs are always open for any and all questions about autism, any curiosities or any questions you might have about being a better ally, or if you have an autistic so-and-so. You can ask me, no questions stupid, no questions too small. I know a lot of people kind of take a do your own research, educate yourself. I don't want to do the emotional work of educating you, but I don't personally feel that way. I really enjoy educating, and so you can ask me anything. I'm also a writer. I'm almost done with a contemporary fiction novel with magical realism elements, and the main character is autistic, and the secondary main character has ADHD and depression, and there's a lot of other representation in there when it comes to neurodiversity and disability. So I guess I call myself an own voices writer. I almost said author, so aspiring author. I'm 100,000 words into a first draft of a novel, and I'm currently working on the extremely tedious process of editing it. And another unique thing I can bring to Booktube is I will always relate my bookish content to writing, and I will involve writing vlogs as well. So every time I read a book, I'm thinking of after every monthly wrap-up, or even just every review or reading vlog, I want to include a small section about like writing takeaways or something like that, where I talk about something that, like, how it inspired me as a writer. Like, this book, I really liked this book's use of, timelines and character development, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like writing and reading will always be pretty together on my channel. Why did you start this channel? Simple answer, community. I just want to connect with like-minded people and talk about books. That is extremely exciting and fulfilling to me. It's funny. Before, I've always considered myself an introvert, but once I was diagnosed autistic, I realized I don't necessarily think I'm a true introvert. It's just like I generally like to keep to myself and keep really involved in my writing and reading projects, but with the right person and like a like-minded person, I do really like to blab about things I'm passionate about. What are you most excited for in this new channel? I would say, why do you love to read? I am just going to insert one of my favorite quotes that speaks for itself. Actually, I have another quote too that sums it up. When did you start reading and what series got you into reading? I really had my head in picture books by age 5, and the series that got me into reading, let's see, elementary school, it was probably Sammy Keys, The Secret of Platform 13, Soup. I think I dabbled in Nancy Drew. Middle school was all about Series of Unfortunate Events. She Who Must Not Be Named works. And I was checking out library books so much that I feel like it was like a lot of like cheesy kind of gritty YA that I guess it wasn't good enough to be memorable. And then the book that got me back into reading as an adult was probably White Oleander by Janet Fitch that I read when I was about 18, and I just fell in love with it, and that really started my love for like very like poetic slice of life, hard-hitting contemporary literary fiction. The book that seriously I truly feel like got me back into reading all the time was We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, my favorite book of all time. It's just amazing. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? How have you adjusted your planning and the way that your relationship with productivity and self-esteem when it comes to like accomplishing something? How have you adjusted that to your own mental health needs? What changes have you made to maintain your mental health and keep up with self-care and still feel really great about what you're doing? What challenges do you think starting this booktube channel will present? I would just say I'll have off days, I'll have really low spoon days, and I think I'll just sort of beat myself up a little bit about not being productive, but I'm just hoping to meet other people who have these same roadblocks and help each other be creative when it comes to this. Where do you read? I read outside on my little patio garden that is kind of doubles as my cat star's catio. I have this little wicker rocking chair, and I'm surrounded by birds and plants and flowers, and we live right next to a river trail. So like right on the outside of our patio is this long winding trail that goes it's like 10 minutes and you're to the river, and there's just a bunch of trees and like this little pond that sometimes has like little nutria and ducks and birdies in it. So it's just a really amazing place to read. Or else I'm just reading in bed, or I'm reading in a rocking chair, and I get really cozy and like proper, laying back, proper double chin happening, and a bunch of snacks. Although if I'm checking out a library book, or any book for that matter, I do not eat and then like touch the book. I always make sure to be like snacking with one hand, or like fully wipe my hands. I fucking hate that when there's a library book covered in crumbs. Or like oil stains. That is so disgusting, and that is a sin if you do that. So that's about it. As I said, please reach out to me if you want to know anything about neurodiversity and reading and writing. I would love to meet somebody to do a buddy read with. I really thrive with motivation when I have a buddy system in place. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.